And like that, we are live. Two major issues, two major stories are in the news today. As you can see, this video is clearly titled, the title of this live stream, Brittney Griner has been released from Russian custody. But there is a second story we're going to be talking about, and that is, well, hell, it's probably three, because we now have the folks in Washington voting to codify, or basically voting to protect, same-sex marriage. You had 12 Republican senators also. So Biden is in the news, and a lot of what is happening with the Biden administration could be deemed as political capital. But let's start out with Brittney Griner, the WNBA star that was sentenced to, 10 years in prison, 9 years in prison for having cannabis oil in the country of Russia, now being traded for what looks like a genuine bad guy. So why would Biden trade such a horrible individual for a WNBA star when we have another veteran of the U.S. military doing time in Russia? I believe the veteran is there for 4 years plus. Was this a good trade? Make no mistake about it, even from a liberal like yours truly, I'm not here to pretend for a second that the trade for Brittney Griner was a good trade at all. However, we have to admit it is political capital. It is value. How many times on this program do we hear phrases like, vote for me or you ain't black, or Joe Biden is racist toward African Americans, or he don't give a shit about you? It's political capital, folks. It is political capital. At the end of the day, Griner is going to come home. She'll be on ESPN. She'll be on the news networks. You will see the NBA talking about her. It will be a big story. Had Joe Biden negotiated the release of the veteran we have serving time, it's a small story. It might appear on CNN. Fox is not going to give him credit for getting anybody back home. So even on Fox News, you're not going to hear them bragging about Joe Biden bringing home a U.S. veteran. They're not in the camp for Joe Biden. So while I admit bringing home Griner is a horrible trade for what sounds like a genuine bad guy, it is political capital. And for those who criticize Biden, understand that whoever your political candidate for president is of choice, they would have likely done the same thing simply because that is what typical politicians do. They pursue things that are valuable to them. And bringing home Brittney Griner will be valuable to President Biden. She'll be on television thanking him for her release. Her family will be on television thanking him for their release. It would help Biden out in both the African American and the LGBT communities. There's loads of room to criticize Biden on this. And I'll go to the box in a minute. But there is loads of room to criticize Biden on this horrible trade. However, I would submit to you, the overwhelming majority of individuals who believe that Biden was wrong for this trade, we're not going to support Biden for president anyway. This will strengthen him with his base and potentially add folks from the minority pile or the LGBT pile. And that's pretty much what it is, folks. It's political capital. I'm not trying to say it's right or it's wrong. It looks like a bad trade if you ask yours truly, but it is political capital. Going to the box, or real quick in the comments, Bout did 12 years for what he did, I think was enough time. And real quick before I go to the box, that is another interesting comment. Folks that suggest you traded, a cannabis person or cannabis smuggler or whatever the hell name you want to give Brittney Griner for a war criminal, someone who was literally starting wars, essentially responsible, had lives on his hands. That's who the Russian was that we released for Brittney Griner. Why couldn't you pick someone equal? Well, fact is, no one equal exists. If a Russian national came to America and ended up with a 9 or 10 year prison sentence like Brittney Griner got, it would have to be for something serious. We do not hand out sentences similar to what Brittney Griner got in America for any crime anywhere near that. You could probably be caught with a pound of weed on you and not get 10 years in prison on a first offense. So there is no equivalent to trade with Brittney Griner. We don't hand out sentences like that. To let go of someone in America that has a 10-year sentence, the chances of them committing a far worse crime is almost 100%. Because we don't lock anybody up for something that light. All right, going back to the box, it is Marine for Life. Good afternoon, Marine for Life. Welcome to the program.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much at all. We talking about Brittney Griner being released. What do you think about Biden choosing to do this?
Like you said, it's virtual signaling. Point blank, period. But is anybody really surprised? Because Barack Obama freed 4 terrorists that are back on the battlefield for a deserter in the military.
But why did now? That's obviously a much older story. But why do you believe he did that?
Why?
Yeah.
Political gain.
Yeah.
Political capital.
Fair enough. Well,
exactly
we don't believe. Yeah, fair enough. We can discuss the Obama thing later, but we don't believe Brittney Griner is going to come back to America and turn into Scarface. She was wrongfully convicted. I mean, we just don't believe.
I think her conviction was very harsh. Absolutely, 100%. I think it was a political move on Vlad. Right. It was definitely a political move. With that said, I'm not saying, her being free is like, a horrible thing. Great. She's home. She's going to be home. That's awesome. But my fellow Marine veteran that is over there right now is probably getting tortured on the daily because they know he's a Marine Corps veteran. And, you got to give some.
I get your point. Your point is that he should have focused on someone like that. You don't put time in for the U.S. military and things like that. But let me ask you this. If you were a politician and you know for certain that the Russians are not going to give you back that service person, but they may give you back Brittney Griner, would you not take Brittney Griner just for the sake of being able to at least get one back?
Oh, I would definitely. I'm not saying that, I'm not saying, she doesn't matter. She does. She's an American. Okay. She matters 100%. What I'm trying to explain to you is this dude that they just released.
He's a bad guy. He's a genuine bad guy.
KGB. He's former KGB. He's a terrorist. He's an arms dealer. Why do you think he's going to go back right to the battlefield and help further this war with Ukraine?
I don't want to. And see, that's the same issue we have in America when they're starting to come up with this, reduction in cash bail and things like that. Is we tend to believe once a criminal, always a criminal. I don't necessarily want to jump on the bandwagon with that. I believe personally on a domestic level, that's why we have so many folks incarcerated in this country, is because we treat people like once you're a criminal, you're always going to be a criminal, including once they get out. We still continue treating them like criminals. So is he going to go back and go right back into his old life? I don't know. I mean, that would be like saying Brittney Griner. Now that Brittney Griner has been released, she's going to go play ball in Western Europe and go right back to bringing drugs around. I don't believe that.
But Vladimir Putin is his president. So he's going to do what he's told. And Putin is probably going to use this dude. I'm being honest.
Maybe it could be. I mean, the guy's been in jail for a period of time, though. I mean, not only has he been in jail for a period of time, you don't know what the U.S. has done to him. He might be compromised. Right. I don't know if I would throw this guy right back on the battlefield.
But I think he's going to. He's going to. Of course, he's going to question him and probably beat the shit out of him. Be like, what did you tell them?
Right.
And then he's probably going to use them. Sorry, but this dude maybe he is reformed, but Vladimir Putin is not. It's Putin.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
doesn't give a shit.
you can't put anything past that. I gotta move it on, but before I let you
No,
go, how do you feel about the real Tay in the comments is saying that the guy that they let go, the arms dealer, they're suggesting that his sentence was almost done. How much more time did that guy have on his sentence?
I honestly do not know. I have not looked into it. Maybe I should before
Yeah,
I
that makes sense.
talked about it. But at the same time, the dude is freaking. He's a terrorist. uh,
Yeah, but
he's a
let's
terrorist.
look at it this way. Let's look at it this way. Okay, he is a terrorist. I'm not arguing with you on that.
Mhm,
But let's say he's a terrorist, but he only had 4 or 5 more years left on his sentence,
mhm.
and Brittney Griner got 9. Now, does the trade look a little bit more equal that we got a person that was going to stay for 9, and we gave them somebody we were only going to hold for 4 or 5?
I see your point of view. I really do. But still, like they should have gotten like somebody that was like a money launderer or something like that. Financial whatever. But this dude, ah, just I'm questioning it. I'm
Yeah,
questioning the
and
motive.
I'm with you. Okay, I got to move it on, but I'm with you on the questioning part. But at the end of the day, we do need to find out how much longer he had on his sentence because I do
Yep.
believe that would make a difference. Good, appreciate the talk. Come on back to him. By the way, thank you for your service, man. Holla
Thank
at
you,
you.
sir.
You're doing what a lot more of us probably should do. I haven't done it, but appreciate that, man. Come on back
I
to anytime.
appreciate it, bud.
Absolutely, absolutely a pleasure. In the comments. There is a vet over there from 2018, says Gator. And I understand. I don't know if we're talking about the same guy. Clearly we're not, if you're suggesting 2018. But I'd also need to know the other vet, according to Gator, if you're saying there's another vet that's been in Russia since 2018, what is he there for? Because if you're committing genuine crimes, let's say he went over there and wanted to get his hands on some Russian punani and he took it, I don't think we should negotiate for his release so quickly. So let's find out what he's there for before we automatically suggest, well, he's a veteran, bring him home. I mean, veterans do commit crimes. Looking in the comments, it is liberty or death. With a name like that, it's always an honor to talk to you. Liberty or death? Back to the program. I think we've talked before, haven't we, Liberty?
Yeah, you know me under a couple different pseudonyms also, but
Absolutely, fair enough. Okay, so what do you think? Bringing home Brittney Griner, was that the wrong move for Biden, or is there political capital in it?
well, yeah, there's political capital in it. I'll preface it with I wasn't losing any sleep over her being over there in prison for committing a crime against their laws.
Yeah, but
But
wait a
go
minute,
ahead.
but an American going to prison for 10. I mean, I agree with you. She went and broke their laws, but they gave a first-time offender the maximum sentence.
Right.
Obviously, there's more to it than her just breaking their laws.
Yeah, well, we are in a proxy war with them. I think that helps.
Right.
But I mean, you're old enough. Did you lose any sleep over Michael Fay getting all those lashings when he was in Singapore tagging up cars? I mean,
You
you
know,
go
I
to people's
want to.
country and you break their laws, you face their
Yeah,
sentences.
but I don't want the man to get his ass whooped like that. They whooped the shit out of that little boy. No, I
Hey,
get
he
your
ain't
point.
never sprayed another car in his lifetime. I guarantee you that.
Probably ain't never sat down in his life since that shit. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
And so, what I will say though is, it doesn't surprise me because Democrats have a track record of making bad deals. The Bo Bergdahl deal, which I know it sounded like you didn't want to discuss too much in depth. That was a bad deal right there, and the idea, Jimmy Carter's deal with getting our hostages out of Iran. The night before he left office, he gave them
Yeah.
billions and billions of dollars, right? Which, hey, we got to get our people. We got to get our people back. I agree, right? But
wait a minute. The Bergdahl deal, we can certainly talk about that. But this Biden deal with Griner, I mean, at the end of the day, you really think this is a horrible deal? I mean, we need to know
well,
first.
I just want to get the facts straight, right? So we're in a proxy war with Russia, and we just
Right.
give Russia back an arms dealer, but Trump going and shaking hands with little Kim is like some kind of collusion, acting with war criminals, blah blah blah. I mean, you're aiding and abetting the enemy.
Yeah.
Obama gave 4 Taliban generals back while we were still fighting the Taliban. Make it make sense.
Well, in regards to Biden, I can easily make it make sense. It's political capital. It's going to help him out with the African American community, minorities, the LGBT. That's the people who are saying, like yourself, who are saying that what he did was an awful deal. They weren't going to support him anyway. If he had did what folks are suggesting and brought home the veterans that are over there, you think Fox News or Trump is going to get on and tweet that how great of a job he did? You have a situation where you are not going to gain anything by doing this, but you're going to gain a lot by doing that. He went with that. But if he had brought home veterans, they would have simply said he should have done it sooner. He should have done it the minute he got elected. You're not going to get credit from that side. So the criticism, you have to understand, you got to take it with a grain of salt.
Right. And, I agree. Tucker Carlson's not going to go and give any accolades to Biden regardless, right? But me, a lot of this is news to me, right? I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know who these people are, right? I know about the Brittney Griner situation. I didn't know about this arms dealer that was actually being held in Thailand. So there's going to be some cloak and dagger stuff going on there. And I didn't know about our spy that was over there. And people were like, oh, he got a dishonorable discharge. Canadian-born, 3-country holding citizen dude accused of spying. The dude's fucking James Bond out there. Okay? So, all right.
Bad guy. I'm not denying. But let me ask you what I asked the last. I want to ask you what I asked the last caller, and I'll let you continue. And by the way, folks, tap the screen, get your boy up to 5,000 likes. I appreciate you rolling too. Like I asked the last caller, Liberty, how do you feel if this bad guy that they let go, genuine terrorist, only had a few years left when Brittney Griner was facing 9 or 10 years? Now is it more of an equal trade?
And that goes with what I was about to say. Was I didn't know who the hell this dude was before about 2 or 3 hours ago, so I wasn't losing any sleep over him. Right? It's just now that there's been some facts brought to light, it's just like, damn, y'all could have got more. That's my only judgment. Bring home our American. I say bring home Brittney. That's fine. I'm not like, F her, lock her up, this, that, and the other. 9 years is a extremely harsh sentence for some marijuana, right? So yeah, bring her home.
It ain't just 9 years. They also sent her to like a Buffin Rock type camp. I mean, so they didn't just give her 9 years. They gave her 9 years hard time.
Yeah. So, earlier when I said I wasn't losing any sleep over her being there, it's like, well, she did commit the crime. It's not like it's a completely false crime, but it is a harsh sentence. So yes, if you can negotiate getting her home, that's fine by me, right? It's just that it seems like you guys had an ace, right? And you traded it for a deuce and go fish,
Yeah. But it's only an ace if you just locked him up. Like I said, if he's only looking at a year or two more in prison and he's about to get home anyway, then it's no longer an ace, because if the guy gets released during the Biden administration, people would probably be like, well, shit, he only had a year or two left. Why didn't you get Brittney Griner out? Now she got 8 years left or something like that. So I don't know if it's an ace when he's almost done with his sentence, as people are suggesting.
Now, that's a fair statement, and that math works out, and I agree with it. But at the end of the day, I still think that he did not negotiate as good as he could have.
Perhaps.
And I'll finish with this statement. I've already said it, but I'll finish off with this: the idea that we are in a proxy war with Russia and we are giving them anything, right? Especially an arms dealer, okay,
right.
Would have to be examined for the appearances of, was this good or bad for our interest? I mean, you can be enemies with somebody and not be friends with them, but when you're in a proxy war with them, that changes the ball game. So
yeah,
for instance, I'm going down a real hypothetical here, but for instance, let's say we ended up having to have U.S. troops in Ukraine one day, and we find out that those troops were killed because this guy was supplying arms to a certain faction. Now what?
Yeah, I get your point.
So there's all that.
Yeah, but like I told the last caller, I don't like when it comes to releasing people. I don't like because this is something. It's almost like the American way in this country. We have the notion that once you're a criminal, you are more likely to be a criminal than not. We treat you like once you're released, you're going to do it again. And I don't like it because that's what we're all talking about right now. You let go of an arms dealer. He's not going to start going to church and realize the error of his ways. He's going to go right back to his criminal life. That's how we treat folks in America. And I'm not a fan of that because I do believe it leads to mass incarceration and high recidivism. I don't know if this guy is going to go back and do some shit that already got him a 25-year sentence, but I do see a lot of folks suggesting that. So I don't want to make that leap, is what I'm saying.
If you're committing crimes because you can't afford food or shelter, this, that, and the other, you probably have a good chance at rehabilitation with having a good job and everything like that once you're out, right? When you've been a millionaire drug dealer or arms dealer, this, that, you ain't going to Wendy's to fucking finish out the rest of your time. You're going to go right back to the high life.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but when you got caught by a foreign country, they were looking to give you, for the most part, most of your life in jail. Even though you might want to go back to the high life, that might be a hell of a deterrent. I mean, you almost never got your ass out of the United States. You don't know what may happen. If he gets caught again, he is done. So if that's not a deterrent, I don't know what is, but he knows that if he gets caught again doing that shit on the international stage, he is done. The rest of his life, he will be in custody. You're thinking that he'll ignore all of that and still go right back into it?
I think I could gamble that he's more likely to do that than go back to some regular ass, whatever the equivalent in Russia is, $20 an hour construction framing job. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
get
don't
used to
know
the
because
high life, man.
not only that, but everybody know who the hell you is. You don't have any cover anymore. I can't see it. I mean, we know there are U.S. spies in Russia. We know there are U.S. spies throughout Eastern Europe. You can't even do the shit undercover anymore. People know who you are, even if you are the Russian government. Are you going to use this guy again?
Yeah, but you got to remember, this dude was probably never physically touching any of these arms. He was just sitting in some badass house somewhere in Russia, and other people were doing it. He's going to go right back to pulling strings.
No,
Now, if he
we'll
was a
see.
mid-level guy, if he was a mid-level guy and he physically got caught with shipping containers of arms, you might have a case for saying, I'm probably never doing that again. I'm gonna go get my stuff together. But this dude never had his hands on a single bullet. He was out there just living the high life, and he's gonna go right
Yeah,
back to doing that.
he's also be able to keep in mind he's also been out of the game for like 13 years. That means something. I don't care if you're on the top level of the drug game. If you've been off the streets for 13 years, that is going to have an effect. It ain't like he just got arrested last week. He's been out of the game for 13 years. That's going to make a difference. I got to move it on, though, Liberty. Appreciate you
Hey,
coming through.
have a
Good
good day,
talk.
man.
Absolutely, you too. All right, looking in the comments, I'll give you the same spiel I always give, and let this not be an audience of lazy thumbs. Tap the screen, 10,000 likes. Your boy would appreciate that. This is a MAGA friendly program. Despite the name, I do not ban, block, or censor anyone for their commentary. I'll give you plenty of time in the box to state your point. And the fact that you may disagree with the host never means a damn thing here. So let your thumbs not be lazy. Show your boys some love. 10,000 likes was not impossible to make happen. Robert Hunter, 3-3. Good evening, or good afternoon, better yet. Get my time of day correct. Good afternoon, Robert. If TikTok allows him to come in, I don't know what the hell's going on there. While that's doing that, we'll go to the comments. Bring home Paul Whelan. Who cares about some ungrateful piece of shit, says Jeff from. Well, as I've been stating throughout the program, would it be more morally correct, more patriotic to bring home the veteran? Absolutely, 100% agree with you there, Jeff. However, Biden is a politician. Politicians are looking for political capital. There is far more political capital. I don't know what happened with my last guest, but I'll go back to the box and get another one. There is far more political capital bringing home Brittney Griner than any of the other captives in Russia. And as a politician, what does a politician want? What does a first term administration want? A second term. They're not always here to do what's morally right. They're here to energize their base and entertain a second term. Otherwise, a lot of shit that Trump was saying would not have been said. But he wanted to energize his base. Biden is doing the same thing. Bringing home Brittney Griner, she's going to be all over ESPN. The WNBA is probably going to put her at half court in a number of games. She might even host a game or two and talk on the microphone. She's going to be on the news network, CNN, MSNBC. Both the African-American and LGBT communities are happy. Biden is getting credit from all of these different avenues. If he had done what Jeff suggested and some of my other callers suggested and brought home the veteran, who's going to give him credit? The military might give him some credit, but the right-wing military who watches Newsmax, OAN, and Fox News, they're barely going to hear about this. You're not going to hear Lori Ingraham or Sean Hannity giving Biden credit for bringing home a veteran. That's back page news. So the amount of political capital for bringing home Brittney Griner is going to be multiples for bringing home the veteran. Even if bringing home the veteran is probably the more morally correct move. That's not how politicians move, folks. Going back to the comments or the box, we'll try Anthony 95. Good afternoon, Anthony. Welcome back to the program.
What's going on, Big Tom?
What would you have done? Would you have brought home Brittney or kept fighting for the vet?
I'm definitely going to bring home Brittney. But I'm going to fight to bring all of them home.
But what if you couldn't get the vet right now? What if you thought you're going to have to negotiate for months, if not years, to continue trying to get that vet home, but you could get Griner home right now for a known terrorist? What do you do?
Yeah, I'm going to bring her home.
And what about the criticism you're getting from the right?
Like you said, sir, that man had a 25-year sentence. The man did over 15 years in prison. He was going home in America court systems anyway. He would have been eligible for parole starting this year.
Wow. Real quick in the comments, Williams CL205, I had to give it a chuckle. He has in the comments, free R. Kelly. You're doing too much, man. You're doing too much. But I agree. You're doing too much. But I agree with you, Anthony, that if he only had a small amount of time on his sentence remaining, and Brittney Griner is looking at a fresh 9 years, I think now it's starting to be more of an equal trade. I really do.
See, it wouldn't even be a problem. No one would be complaining about this trade if that young lady had not had run-ins with the anthem and around the time Black Lives Matters happened. None of these people would be complaining.
It's interesting you say that because I did a video several months ago, and I was suggesting that Trump, folks should call on Trump to get her released. And I stated because Trump had a favorable relationship with Putin before he got elected. He has no ties to the Russia-Ukraine war, so you can't blame that on Trump. And even to this day, his relationship with Putin that we know of is not bad. So I suggested that Trump should be the one to try to negotiate her release. And I had MAGA come on my program saying that Brittney Griner deserved life. So,
yeah, it would have been detrimental to his presidency or his future run had he even spoken about helping that young lady.
Why though? Why would it be detrimental for him to speak out about helping?
Because of his base.
What about his base would be adverse to helping out an American that's being held on a trumped up charge?
I'm going to not be typical, but I'm going to try to be refined when I say this.
Okay.
She does not fit the patriotic look. She doesn't fit the American patriotism ideal of what a patriot is supposed to look like or say or do or be.
Well, and since you're saying that, with you saying that, DJ, a friend of the program in the comments, is saying if you're not white and a male, you're not American. That's what they think. Do you think it's that harsh?
Yes.
Damn. Appreciate those glasses there. Who the hell just sent me that?
And
But I do appreciate that.
and I
If you're
also
not
wanted
white,
I wanted to the last caller you had said some incredibly stupid things, and I just wanted to touch on one of them.
what
On
did you
one of
hear?
them,
What
he
did you hear?
said that Democrats make the worst deals.
Yeah, he
He
did say
went
that.
back to Carter. He went
Mm-hmm.
to Obama. He went to all these people. The one person that he left
Chris,
out
thank you.
that made the worst deal in American history was the person he supported last. Donald Trump made the worst deal in American history. The
Elaborate.
man let the man let out 5,000 Taliban. Got nothing for it. Got
Wait
nothing
a
for
minute.
it.
You said Trump let go of 5,000 Taliban. Where did you hear that
Yes.
from?
Yeah, no, he did. In Afghanistan, before he left, do you remember around the time that they were talking about him wanting to invite the Taliban to Camp David or whatever that camp is that the presidents go to?
I do know what you're talking about now.
That's
Yeah,
around the
wow.
time. That's around the time that he let out 5,000 prisoners in Afghanistan, which were Taliban prisoners, which also has the leader of the Taliban and the president of Afghanistan right now, and got zero for
Woo!
it. Zero.
Well,
Nothing.
the zero part, I believe, was they made promises they didn't keep, very similar to inviting Kim Jong-un to the White House. He too led Trump to believe he was going to do shit and act in certain ways, and then he reneged on it. But yeah, I guess you're right if you say he didn't get, because the Taliban is still treating the citizens of Afghanistan like shit. So yeah, I guess you're right when you say he didn't get nothing out of it.
Got nothing. He got nothing out. Not even a thank you. You know, they didn't even send the man a postcard.
You know, I'm gonna bring that up to my future MAGA call because I want to know how you guys feel when we talk about bad deals. That is a deal that legitimately happened, and Trump did not. You know, because I watch a lot of right wing media as well. I didn't see a lot of overt criticism of Trump for that deal, but that did happen. And I mean, you got to ask, why was he not held to account for doing that? Because to this day, we cannot point out anything of any significant benefit that the United States got by him doing that.
Zero. And see what the thing is, like you said earlier, if the example that you said when you said that if Biden had fought to get the military guy released, would
Right.
Fox News, Newsmax, or any of those people run that story, give him credit?
No, no.
So know that, and no, they wouldn't. So with that being said, we know that these people live in an echo chamber. They're constantly talking about conservatives are being blocked and silenced and this, that, and the third. But when you break it down and you look at all media streams in America are controlled and run and owned by conservatives.
That's not true. Wait a minute. You
Fox
really think
News,
all media
Fox,
streams?
Fox
You
News
think this?
own,
You think
yes,
Disney
Disney's owned
owns
by Fox.
ABC,
Disney owns Fox.
but Disney is clearly left.
No, it's all a game. It's all a game.
You think you think Disney? You think the Disney Corp is a right wing organization?
If they weren't, why would they own Fox?
Maybe they just see green. Maybe everybody is
I
not
mean,
in it for the
so
politics.
that's what I said. It's all about money. It's all about money, bro.
Okay,
It's all
okay,
about
but
rich people.
I don't. I can
CNN,
buy that it's all about.
CNN is owned by conservatives.
Yeah, I can buy that it's all about money. I don't buy that all media is owned by right wingers. There's no way in the world I'm going to buy that.
I
I've
didn't
never
say
heard of
all.
that.
I didn't say all. I didn't say all. I said the majority
I
of
don't even think it's.
mainstream media. It is. You have the only one that's not owned by a conservative right now at this moment in life in America is MSNBC. And can you prove that it's not? The rest of them
There
are.
is. That's
The
we differ
the
on
rest of
that.
them
So
are.
we differ. We differ on our view of that. So it's so vast the difference is. I don't even know if I can even really entertain. I don't agree with that at all. That's all I can tell
I
you.
can, and I can agree. I can agree to disagree. You know, we always
Right,
have good
right.
conversations, and I don't agree with everything you say, just like I don't expect you to. But
Fair
what I
enough.
can tell,
But that,
what I
but
can
we
tell you
can.
to do,
And
what I can tell you to do.
only reason why I phrase it that way is like you said, we're going to disagree, but generally we can meet in the middle and have a dialogue.
Yeah,
I think we're so far apart on that statement. I don't know where else to go because there's no way in the world I'm going to see that all media is controlled by conservatives, even the majority of it. Most of it is, I'm going to submit that most media leans left. Maybe you
but
disagree,
see,
you're entitled to that, but I do
I've
believe
sparked your
most media leans
interest.
left.
I've sparked your interest, and the difference between you and everybody else is that you're gonna go see for yourself.
That is fair point. That is a fair. And by the way, I'm under the impression Disney does not own Fox either. If you got something to show that, submit that to me. I've never. Do you see how bad the right criticizes Disney? If that's their parent network,
Go, go look at
yeah,
it.
yeah, I have to look that up. I
Go
got to
look
move
at
it
it.
on, though, Anthony. You know what we got to do, but come on back to any time. We will certainly discuss
Always
that again. All right,
have
good
a
talk.
good. When you find out, I'll be on here in the crowd to find to hear what you got to say.
I'll keep it 100. Catch you on the next
All
one.
right.
All right. The comments. Griner gets celebrity privilege. What about Mark Fogel? Poppy Pants. I know you may be just tuning into the broadcast. I gave my entire spiel. And by the way, tap the screen. We're near 15,000 likes. We got 500 plus. Patriots and liberals are welcome as well. Obviously, MAGA's my preferred guest, but liberals are welcome. Tap the screen. Get your boy up to 15,000. In regards to celebrity privilege, there are Poppy Pants in the comments. Or is that Poopy? Poppy. I'm going to go with Poppy Pants. In regards to celebrity privilege, yes, Brittney Griner undoubtedly received celebrity privilege. Why would she receive celebrity privilege? Because politicians also enjoy privilege. I refer to it as political capital. You are going to get more political capital, things that are beneficial to your campaign, releasing a well-known person with a lot of fans, as opposed to a military person that nobody knows. It is probably morally correct to release someone that has devoted their lives to fighting for our country. 100% agree with you there. But what does a first term administration want? They want a second term. And releasing Brittney Griner will pay dividends in political capital that releasing that military personnel never would have. Number one point, who's pro-military more than the right wing, than the Republican Party? You think they're going to give Biden credit for releasing a soldier? No. They'll say he waited too long to do it. So there's very little political capital to releasing that service person, whereas the left is going to pay Biden credit in spades for releasing a minority LGBT member. They will give him tons of credit that he would not have gotten from the right, the pro-military party, for releasing a veteran. It would not have happened. Going back to the box, it is DJ Fly Guy. Long time no talk to, Fly Guy. Back. Always good to have DJ Fly Guy on the program. What's going on, Fly Guy? Fly Guy, are you with me?
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up? I always love that air raid siren. 1943 Berlin. So, what do you think about Griner being released? You think Biden made the right move?
Hey man, if you can get it done, man. I mean, what else can you say about it? I mean, if you think about it, your boy Trump, man, out of 22 countries, had 50 people, 50 Americans released. And they all were set up by his top negotiator to have photo shoots, you know,
You know,
for him to get some kind of clout
yeah.
for having people released.
And
You
you don't
know,
think Biden is going to do photo ops with Griner?
you know what? If you get the invite and you know you want to get the handshake and you want to win some points, I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, fucking invite. The minute you get off the private jet, Biden is standing at the bottom. You
hey,
owe me.
hey,
I brought
hey,
my own camera crew.
hey, the girl was only she was only arrested for carrying a doctor prescribed marijuana oil. You
Right.
know, this she was prescribed this stuff by an American doctor.
She's not
And
in America. Yeah, but she's not in America. Who cares if she was prescribed in America? She's not in the
oh
U.S. anymore.
no, all I'm saying was she just, she I don't think I would have thought that somebody's gonna give me 9 years just for carrying some damn
Well,
oil.
yeah. I mean, from what I hear, from what I've read in articles, she was a very, very popular celebrity. So I heard some folks refer to her as like the Jordan of female athletes in Russia. She had a huge fan base. So no, of course she didn't think she was going to get this ridiculous amount of time. But at the same time, she also wasn't expecting a proxy war to break out with the United States. But at the end of the day, if you got a prescription, she should have had her agents or her people verify with the Russian government that it was okay to bring that drug over there. You've had folks like Stallone, and I was living in Australia back in the early 2000s, and Sylvester Stallone of Rambo and Rocky fame, he got caught entering, I believe it was Australia, with a bunch of steroids on him. You need to have your people check before you come into another country with pills on you. I mean, that's just normal. 10 years is obviously incredibly ridiculous, but, she didn't cross all of her T's and dot all of her I's.
Hey, I'm not making excuses for what she did. I mean, that's their country. They got different laws, they got different rules. I mean, you can't come to America. Nobody in Russia can come to America and tell us how to run our laws, and tell us how to do this
Right.
and not do that. And we shouldn't be able to do that over there. Donald Trump had an evangelist released that was convicted of espionage over in Turkey. And
Huh?
nothing. You heard nothing from the right about it.
Well,
You
that's a
heard
good thing, though. Well, you're not going to have too many Americans that are going to be pissed off at getting an American release for espionage. I mean, because if you're spying on another country, essentially you're doing patriots' work. You're doing things to make America better. So you're not going to have nobody's going to if Biden got an American spy released, we would give him credit. I mean, that's James Bond. You're doing things for the country.
that's what Paul Whelan is convicted over there in Russia. He's convicted of spying.
So
But
we should have fought to get him
but
home.
you just got finished saying no matter what, he wouldn't have got credit for it.
No, he would not. And I agree with that. Yeah. I don't
Exactly.
yeah, I don't see the yeah, I don't see
That's
the
what
right giving him credit
that's
for that.
what he's convicted of. He's convicted of spying over in Russia. So no, they didn't get him released. They went with the simple, easy to do deal. This guy was
Right.
getting ready to get out of prison here in America, and they just negotiated an early release. I mean, it was nothing complicated about it. This guy's getting ready to go home. He's being watched by a top satellite. You guarantee that if the dude go home and drink grape Kool-Aid tonight, America could tell you how much sugar he damn used. I mean, they not just gonna let him go and not keep an eye on this dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't
Um,
I don't believe that, and I was telling this to one of the previous callers. I don't believe after serving 13 years in prison that this guy is going to get out and get back in the game. I think that there are plenty of other Russians that have been receiving training that are more modern and up to date than somebody who has been in the US system for the last decade and 3 years or more. Not only that, but this guy may be compromised. You don't know what type of shit they have done to this guy. They may have stuck probes and all kinds of shit up his ass. You don't want to
and
put this guy back out there.
yeah, they was talking about computer chips being inside the COVID shot. You don't think we shot his
Yeah.
ass up with some
Well,
stuff?
don't get us banned now. But yeah, I would not put that guy back out on the street. He's,
Well,
you got other folks.
the only thing I'm asking from the right is to be just as critical of their own people as they are of Democrats. If you are just as critical of your own party and you tell the truth across the board and you give your honest opinion across the board that this was a done deal, no dumb deal, no matter who done it or whatever, just be fair across the board, we can all be taken
Okay.
seriously. You know what I'm
Fair enough.
saying?
Fair enough. I got to move it on, but I will close by saying I agree with you that both sides should be fair. But at the end of the day, I will admit you're not going to get that because we wouldn't do it. We wouldn't be fair in judgment, and they're not going to be either. And the example I often give is you hear folks on the right criticizing Biden for the vote for me or you ain't black statement. Yet Kanye has said all kinds of shit recently, up to and including the Jewish people should forgive Adolf. And they're like, well, he ain't really anti-Semitic, so you're not going to get fair judgment.
Hey, all I got is one more thing to say. Let's go, Biden. Keep doing that job, Biden. Bringing Chris and Grandma home, and Black Lives do matter. God damn it, y'all. Have a good day.
Oh, my God. DJ, it's always a pleasure. Come on back through anytime, man.
All right,
Good talk. All right, going comments. As I say always, this is a MAGA-friendly program. Liberals are welcome as well. I don't ban or block anyone for their commentary. The fact that you might disagree with my ass never means a damn thing. So come on over. I'll put you in the box, give you plenty of time to state your point. Speaking of the box, let's go right back to it real quick. Ken Bone, I can't pronounce that name, but Ken says Sleepy Joe did it again. I had a show the other day in which we asked that question. Despite Biden's poll numbers, his economy, his inflation rate, he does seem to be winning from a standpoint. I mean, when you see what happened in the midterms, I just saw a news broadcast that said the last time a first-term president gained a seat in the Senate was in the 1950s. So Biden is breaking records, doing shit that a guy with his poll numbers and his economy would never be expected to do. The red wave fizzled out so damn much, I think I saw some people walking in the water. So there was no wave at all. So why is Biden succeeding so damn much? Despite all of the negatives I often hear from MAGA, he's not doing that bad. We have to ask that. Going back to the box, Michael B.W. Good afternoon, Mike.
Hey, what's up? So,
What's up? Go ahead.
The first thing I want to say is your earlier caller was absolutely right. The silliest deals that have been made by a president, to my knowledge, was the Afghanistan fiasco. If you look at it, he gave them back the country, and the only thing we got out of it was a group of service members killed when they tried to pull out. And
they're blaming that on Biden. They're blaming the 13 service members on Biden.
But the deal was made by Trump. Okay. So
why do you think Trump let those folks go?
Because of what I call because of exposure. Okay. Trump did things that everybody would give him credit for. He's a self-promoter. His entire life is about self-promotion. So nobody stopped the Afghanistan war in 20 years. I'm going to stop the war. That's going to make me famous. Okay. He cherry-picked. His entire presidency was about cherry-picking self-promotion.
But when it comes to the release of Brittney Griner, when you got veterans doing time, do you not see where Biden might be self-promoting right now?
Not really. But I will tell you that and I'll explain this in a second, but I will tell you that Donald Trump would have released Brittney Griner first, because then he could turn around and say to the LGBT community, look, I'm a champion of you. The way he releases one black man over here from jail and then turns around and says, look, I did this. Okay.
I'll let you continue. Let me interrupt because I want to ask what you just said to the audience by way of yes or no in the audience. And I got to figure out how to do the polls on this damn thing. But by way of yes or no, based on what my caller said, how many of you believe that Trump would have released Brittney Griner by way of yes or no? Because you're saying he would have released Griner first. You're saying that you do believe Trump would have released Brittney Griner.
Oh, yeah, because that is the thing that would get him the most credit with the LGBT community. Okay, because now it's just like what he did with the HBCUs. Okay, people say he went in and he gave them all of this stuff, right?
Right.
Well, if I'm president and I want black vote because I want to stay in office for another term, if I do this, it'll make me famous. Okay, but then after I get in my second term, I can sunset that.
Yeah, but do you think if Trump, you're basically saying Trump would want to promote his image, but because I had a caller on a few callers back that spoke on what you're speaking on, but he said just the opposite, and that is that Trump would have never released Brittney Griner because his base would have literally chastised him for doing so. Now, the caller suggested that because Brittney Griner is LGBT or African American or she didn't stand for the anthem, that she doesn't fit the patriotic aspects that of someone they believe should be rescued. So they thought the exact opposite of you.
Yeah, but think about this. How many times have you seen Trump do things that are popular with the other party against his base and then go back and placate them later?
Give me an example of one.
The shots. Okay. He's promoting the vaccines. It's against his base. It's against his base, but it's not something that's going to make him lose them. It pisses them off for a few minutes.
I would submit to you in regards to the vaccine, Trump's primary running point for his 2020 campaign was going to be, I gave us the best economy in recent memory. So when the pandemic came on the scene, the last thing he wanted to do was shut down his baby, being that strong economy. So in the beginning, he was talking out the side of his neck, keep the country open, but, I want people to be free to move around, but do what you want to do. You can wear a mask if you want to. So in the beginning, he was not promoting the vaccine or any of the requirements to be against the spread of COVID. By the time he came around, I believe he had lost his audience, which why is to this day, when he promotes getting a shot, his own fans will boo him because he didn't release a unified message in the beginning.
Right. But again, what he did was he just went along with what everybody wanted until it came right down to the necessity. Then he made a brave move and then he placated his base. He always finds something that they want to give them for when he goes against them. But at the same time, he's drawing popularity from the other side.
Yeah, but in what universe is a leader going to let everybody do what they want and then step in afterwards? I mean, if you're a general and you let your troops do whatever they want, then it's not. You got to be able to release a unified message from day one. You can't let everybody do what they want. Otherwise, by the time you try to rein them in, they're going to be out of control.
But that's why he in the end was not successful, because that's exactly what he was doing. He was playing to whoever he wanted to. And that's why he was not successful in the end, because he played to their tune. And then when they came backlash, he pivoted.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me ask you this. I'm gonna have to move it on soon, but before if it was up to you, would you have brought home Griner or tried to get if you knew you couldn't get the veterans anytime soon, would you have taken Griner if they were willing to give you Griner for this terrorist that we ended up sitting back?
Okay. I'm gonna say two things real quick, and I'm gonna run. Okay. The straight answer is I would have taken Griner first. Okay, but here's the thing. That was a fork. If you ever play chess, that was a fork. Okay.
Okay.
Vladimir Putin knew who Brittney Griner was.
Yeah.
Vladimir Putin knew that trading her for a terrorist or a arms dealer was going to hurt Biden politically. Okay, so
You
he
think
was
this
in
is
a
hurting him?
fork.
You think this
Oh
is going to
yeah,
hurt Biden politically?
politically getting Griner out of there is going to give the right something to beat him over the head with. Okay,
Yeah,
and
but you're
Putin knows this. Okay, so
yeah, but
Putin,
when you say getting Griner home is going to get it right something to beat Biden over the head with, it's literally like telling the right winger to pick up a baseball bat and beat him over the head in a baseball dugout. There are weapons
no, but
laying
I'm
around
saying,
everywhere. They
I'm
already
saying
got
that.
plenty of stuff to beat him
No,
over the
I'm
head
saying
with.
it's like if you touch me, I can hit you. Okay,
Okay.
so I'm gonna trip you so you can fall into me, and when you grab me, then I'm gonna beat you up. Okay,
Okay.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Vladimir Putin doesn't want Biden to be strong because Biden is against him. Okay,
Right.
so to
Right.
make Biden weak, he cherry picked Griner and made sure the whole world knew about the Griner situation.
You think the
There
world
is
cares about this?
evidence. There
You
is
think the
evidence,
you think the
but there's
world
evidence. Say
You think
again?
the world is judging Biden by this Brittney Griner situation? Keep in mind, before the Ukrainian war, most folks thought that Russia was the second most powerful country in this world, maybe right behind China. But now, because of Biden's help, Russia has a hell of a lot of busted up equipment, hundreds of
Right.
thousands of dead,
But that's
hundreds of
my
thousands.
point.
Wait a minute, let me finish. Hundreds of thousands of dead soldiers and all of that. He gets Brittney Griner home, and you don't think people are going to see Biden with all he's done to Putin and his military? He looks pretty damn strong, is what I'm trying to say. But I'll give you the
Yeah.
last word.
Yeah, I agree. But what I'm saying is that politically, this was a slap at Biden because Biden has humiliated him. You see what I'm saying? Biden has humiliated him over the last year. And so this is a strike at Biden. I mean, it's ineffective, but it's still a strike at
Yeah,
Biden because there is evidence that other people have been to Russia with prescriptions and not gone to jail.
true.
Okay, so he cherry picked, and you have to ask yourself, why did he cherry pick? Because politically, this is a knife in Biden's
Poison.
back. And
Okay.
but anyway, thank you for letting me on here as usual. The last
Come
thing I
on.
want to say,
Sure. You there? You put yourself on mute. Your audio's gone. All right. Have a good one. I don't know what the hell happened with this last minute, the audio there, but in regard back to the box, and in regards to my last caller there, is it a slap to Biden by Putin? Perhaps, but if I had to give my analysis, which I obviously will, it would be akin to taking your bare hand and slapping an alligator on the top of the head. I don't think that the world is really concerned with the Brittney Griner situation at all. The fact that Biden is helping Zelensky deliver so many deaths and destruction to Russia is going to overtake any judgment of Biden in regards to this Griner situation. He has literally shown the world that the Russian conventional military is a paper tiger. That is valuable information to a host of other countries. The Brittney Griner thing, in my opinion, pales in comparison to that. I mean, how many dead Russians that would be alive today if it were not for President Biden sending all of those weapons and strategic information to the Ukrainians? A lot of folks believe that if Trump was in office, either Putin would not have attacked the Ukrainians, or if he did, Trump would not be helping them out at all. Either way, under either one of those situations with Trump, a lot more of Russian military would be alive today that are now currently deceased. Those dead Russian soldiers are because of President Biden. So I don't see how Biden could ever look weak on the world stage with so many dead Russians that has to be attributed to his administration. Shout out to Zelensky and his people for being willing to fight, but they are not even in the ring if it wasn't for the United States supplying them with all that shit. You got to give Biden credit for that. Like I said, if you're on the right, you're not. And I understand that because we wouldn't do it if it was reversed. Going back to the comments or to the box, a Bizzolator, a new caller, a Bizzolator. By the way, folks, follow the channel, tap the screen, get your boy up to 25,000 likes, MAGA-friendly program, liberals are welcome. Hey, Bizzolator, good afternoon.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Just want to make a couple quick points.
Sure.
You got everybody this morning so upset and ready to shout, "Oh, how dare them pick a Marine over a basketball player?"
Vice versa.
So
pick the basketball player over a Marine.
Right. Excuse me. I apologize. Yeah, vice versa. So they're, in an uproar over this. They never even sat there and, did any research to say, "Oh, well, we didn't realize he's dishonorably discharged." And then he went over to Russia to become a spy and got caught as a spy.
Is that true?
Yeah, he was dishonorably discharged. Okay. So now you got a dishonorably discharged veteran across seas being busted as a spy. So I wonder why it has taken so long, and why Trump didn't get it done in his 4 years, because he's been over there for more than 2 years, 4 years. He was over there the whole time Trump was in administration.
I need to verify. I got folks in the comments. Doug Angel is saying you're not correct, but some folks are backing you up. The thing I need to find out, because you're right, if he's dishonorably discharged and he's in the country spying, then he is actually committing a true crime. What Brittney Griner did is a crime, but she got ridiculously sentenced. Her sentence
Another point I did not see made on here today about Griner.
What?
The law before she got caught at the airport with what she got caught with. The law in that country before that point was, if you were caught with that amount or less, and it wasn't that, it was like an eighth or whatever, 3.5 or 7.
A personal use amount.
Right. If you were found with the small minority, it was 15 days in prison and a fine.
And they
literally amended their laws as she was being as she was being detained and put into the system. They amended it to make sure that they can maximize her sentence and make it the 10 years she got or whatever.
And they obviously gave her the max. Wow. And that makes sense, because what she got caught with, you got rappers and everybody going on air. Like, we had no problem getting weed when we were in Russia. You got all kinds of entertainers, American entertainers that are coming out and like, I was over there getting high as hell and I didn't have any problem. So that actually makes sense. And that's something the Biden administration needs to say publicly. I don't think it'll make a difference with the right, because they're not going to give him credit anyway, but he should actually come out and say that. It might play a part to some veterans out there who are pissed off that what they think is one of their brothers was not released with them.
Right. And I was just kind of trying to correlate this into the previous point you just made. Yes, this is not going to affect Biden on the world level whatsoever. No. He's already, doing his thing in that department. But at the MAGA level, they are desperate to play the victim card any which way they can.
Give me some examples.
Absolutely. Every single the fact that they parade around Nick Fuentes and Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Kanye can say what he wants. All these people can say what they want, and they get free passes.
Wait a minute. I gotta play devil's advocate. They're claiming that Trump did not know who Nick Fuentes was.
Yeah, okay, and I'm the Queen of England, but there's no way you can get vetted to sit down at a dinner with a former president without knowing that this man just had a CPAC conference featuring Marjorie Taylor Greene, cave woman ass. Ridiculous. Donald Trump does it every single time. Donald Trump is the biggest con man in the world, and MAGA falls for it with no problem at all. They're so desperate for a win that
So you
as long as
feel
there's someone standing up.
confident. So you feel absolutely confident that Trump knew who Nick Fuentes was, the guy he was having dinner with.
No question about it.
Yeah.
It's not even a second thought. It's not even a second thought. There's no way that you could even be sitting in the same dinner room as Donald Trump without his team knowing exactly what's going down. And if his team, you know, the Secret Service team or whatever, vets that, oh, this guy's white supremacist, you know, he's had plenty of talk shows supporting it. He said all these things publicly. They would definitely tell, hey, Trump, before you sit down with this man to dinner, this is what he's about.
Yeah, you would think that a guy at Trump's level, even before he became president, he was a real estate mogul, he was a well-known celebrity, he had his own security team. You would think he would have somebody around him, somebody who may have replaced Michael Cohen, somebody that's in your camp to tell you this is not the guy you should be. You don't just invite Farrakhan to your crib. I mean, somebody should be telling you that. Now, in the comments, though, DJ is suggesting that Trump was caught talking to Nick Fuentes a year ago at CPAC. If that is the case, that needs to be proven. That would be a hell of a story if you could show Trump talk, because there's pictures of him talking to Epstein and shit like that at parties. If you could show a picture of Trump talking to Nick Fuentes a year ago, a person he's saying he didn't know, yeah, that would be worth his weight in gold. I would love to see that. But I'm with you, Biscar. I'm with you. I do believe that Trump likely knew who Nick Fuentes was, or if he did not, the Secret Service would have advised him. I mean, this is a very controversial figure showing up to your house with a very controversial figure. The Secret Service would have to look into that and give you some kind of advice.
Yeah, Trump is sitting here trying to play it off like, oh, I didn't know he was going to be at the same restaurant as me.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to play it off like it's some, simple encounter where any random person could have just come up to him and sat down and taken pictures with him, and then all thumbs up with the guy.
And that's also dangerous because let's say Trump did not know the guy. Let's say Trump is very negligent on checking who comes around him. First of all, we know you got documents in your house, whether they're classified or not. You're the former president. You have a lot of enemies. You just can't have people walking up in the crib. What is the purpose of having a Secret Service if anybody can get access to you? That just makes no sense.
They would be completely useless, and they should be fired if that's the case.
Yeah. I mean, anybody can just walk in.
Incompetence at the highest level. Incompetence.
Yeah. I mean, certainly if you're planning on running for president again, you can't be that incompetent. That just, I mean, I don't know. That would be something that even if you're supporting Trump, you would have to question. Okay, I like your policies. I like the way you run America, but you can't be doing shit like that. Just letting anybody walk up on you. That doesn't make a lot of sense in my opinion.
You don't know nobody. You don't know Stormy. You don't know nobody. He knows nobody. It's always, I never knew that, bro. I didn't know Epstein. I didn't know Epstein at all. I barely knew him. He was a business associate. Yeah, okay.
Said the same thing about David Duke. Said the same thing about Michael Cohen. He was my lawyer for a few times, barely. Michael Cohen, like shit, I've been hanging around this dude for 20 years. I don't know, but I got to move it on, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me on.
Anytime. Come on back through. Get a left. As I always say, it's a MAGA-friendly program. Let the name not run you away. Don't let your thumbs be lazy, by the way. Tap the screen. Make your boy get 30,000 likes. Maybe you bring more MAGA to the program. MAGA's always welcome here. But I don't turn liberals away either. I give you plenty of time in the box as I stay on every program. I don't ban, block, or censor anyone for their commentary. The fact that you may disagree with the host never means shit when you come in the box. So tap the screen, get your boy to 30,000 likes, bring me some more MAGA. In the comments, before I go right back to the box, read the book Trump the Antichrist. You know, when you label a book like that, listen, I'm a liberal. I don't hide that. You see the name of the program, but the Antichrist. When you overbrand somebody, it's just like the Democrats calling everybody a racist, or the Republicans calling everybody a socialist. I believe in judging an individual a little bit more fairly than that. I don't see, I believe Trump has said some really horrible things, but the Antichrist, I don't know. That's taking it to a different level. It'll be great when Republicans come back to earth. VK, there was a comment, I believe it was from Paul Ryan back in the 2015-2016 election. And he did say something to the fact of, until the Republican Party starts looking like the rest of America, we're going to continue losing elections. Now, obviously, Trump came along and proved that the Republican Party could win an election. They did really well in 2016. But he also pointed out something similar to what you're saying. And also Chris Christie, which a lot of my MAGA folks do not like, my beloved MAGA folks don't like. He has also stated exactly what you said, is that the Republican Party need to come back to its traditional values and get away from the conspiracy theorists. He's talking about the QAnon stuff, get away from the 2020 election and things like that. Obviously, Trump, with the termination of the Constitution comment, clearly has not gotten away from the 2020 election. And Elon Musk is certainly fueling that fire. Shout out to Elon Musk. I'm for free speech as well. But Elon Musk is certainly going to make it so that Trump keeps going back to 2020. Going to the box, I want to ask this question real quick before we go to the box. We've seen a lot of right-wingers over the last probably month or two, because of Kanye, suggesting that Kanye is a genius. He's a smart guy. He's just pointing out facts. And all the while, the rhetoric coming from Kanye has gotten worse and worse and worse, up to and including this weekend suggesting that the Jewish people should forgive Adolf for what happened in World War II, the Holocaust. So I'm asking this question to you folks who believe Kanye West is actually a very intelligent guy and he's just speaking his mind. What if Kanye actually was not a fan of Trump, but getting involved in these type of antics to bring forth the worst in MAGA, only to damage the Trump party? I'm going to assume he would not be doing this, but what if for you guys who believe he's a genius and he always has a plan and he's always thinking ahead, what if he's doing this to deliberately call forth the worst in the MAGA party? He was meeting with the leader of the Proud Boys when he said that Jewish people should forgive Adolf. Obviously he's walked around with Candace Owens with the White Lives Matter t-shirt on. He brought Nick Fuentes, who Trump claims he didn't know, to Trump's home, left the home and suggested that Trump was really impressed by Nick Fuentes. Regardless of what you believe in regards to Kanye West, there's no denying he is not helping the Republican Party out at all. He is not benefiting Trump at all. He's not helping himself out either, but Trump is not benefiting at all by continuing to deal with Kanye, unless you are in a far right-wing mindset. The far right-wing folks, yeah, they love what Kanye is saying. They love Trump hanging around them. But the regular moderates, the traditionalists, the conservatives, it's not helping Trump out at all. So what if Kanye is trying to deliberately sabotage the Republican Party? We're talking about folks going to Russia and being charged with espionage. What if he is committing an act of espionage, so to speak, going into the party, finding the worst, siding with them so that they come forward in an effort to destroy that party? Going back to the box, my name is Kitten, friend of the program. Afternoon, welcome back to the program, Kitten.
Oh, what's going on, handsome liberal? How are you, man?
I'm doing good. What do you think about Biden bringing home Griner?
I like that he's bringing an American home that should have never been jailed in the first place. But I'll tell you, in a couple days, nobody's going to be talking about it anymore. And the right wing's going to be far too busy with their stupid Hunter Biden investigations to be worried about that at all. So I'm not worried about the right wing using that to beat Biden over the head. Huh?
You think anything's coming out of that Biden investigation? Hunter Biden, Burisma, the laptop?
If Hunter Biden goes to jail, I don't care. He's not in government. He doesn't do anything for me. He's nobody. It's a waste of time.
Yeah,
But that's what
but
they do, man.
Hunter Biden claims he was giving 10% of his earnings to a big guy. Who was the big guy?
I mean, if he did something illegal, then he should go to jail. Anybody who commits a crime should be punished, right? So the thing is it shouldn't be the Congress investigating it. It should be DOJ or the appropriate authorities. I don't need Congress wasting their time with a private citizen who has nothing to do with government.
Well, they're not doing it because Hunter Biden is a private citizen. The ultimate goal is to get his dad. I mean, we
Yeah, I
know
know.
that. Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I
You
hear you.
think it will have any success, though? I mean, you think they really will end up being able to pin anything on Biden?
No, I mean, like I said, they wasted a bunch of time with Hillary too. You guys want lower gas prices. You want to do something about inflation, but here you are supporting the numbnuts that you put in office to go investigate Hunter Biden, to waste a bunch of tax dollars and not solve any problems. So, good
But
on you guys.
how do you feel when you hear folks on the right
Hmm,
suggest that we went after Trump from day one and we wasted a ton of money, the Russian issue, and he was impeached twice, he was under investigation constantly. They're saying the
yeah.
same thing. They're saying we did the same thing. How do you respond to that?
I respond to that Trump confessed his crimes on Twitter and on TV. So he confessed the crime, like globally, like nationally, on the air, on Twitter.
Yeah.
So, when you confess the crimes, honestly, you don't even need to investigate the guy. The only reason he's gotten the kind of privilege he does is because he was the president and he has money, right? If I go on TV and I say, oh man, I did this crime, right? The police are going to be at my door to lock me up.
Yeah, that's referred to in the hood as self snitching. So you would have
Yeah.
brought Brittney Griner home. What about the military vets that are over there? You wouldn't have given them priority?
I don't know enough about their situations to speak intelligently on that. If an American citizen is jailed inappropriately in a foreign country, I would hope that the government is doing its best to bring them home no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a fair way of putting it. And I'm kind of in the same camp. If you can bring someone home, but what about the notion of political capital that I've been saying, which is Biden is going to get more for his own administration, for his own chances of being reelected or other Democrats getting reelected by freeing Brittney Griner as opposed to a military vet.
Well, I mean, that goes for any politician is going to act in the interest that gets them the most votes, right? That's everybody.
Right, right.
That's
I
anybody
don't
you can talk about.
I don't now, based on that, I don't think we disagree on any of this. I certainly, if I was in Biden's position, I understand you're not going to get any type of political capital from the right putting a
Mhm.
basketball player over the military. But at the same time, if Biden had brought on the military, they weren't going to give him any accolades for that either. So
Yeah, I mean,
you're
you're
trying to
not
please a
moving over
group that's not
baggage.
going to like you no matter what.
Yeah, one very important thing that Democrats need to stop worrying about is Republican votes because we don't need them. And to be quite frankly, with all you Republicans in the audience there, I don't want your votes. You can keep them.
Yeah, but
And we
Biden was put in supposedly for unity. What you're saying is a
Mhm.
divisive statement.
Yeah, and I don't want to be united with them. I have no desire to be united with the right at all. I am of the mind that a country at some point will reach an enlightenment, like kind of a position of enlightenment where you have very liberal situations that are going to be normalized, right? Like LGBTQ is going to be normalized, just like gay marriage was and everything like that. In any society that reaches the point of enlightenment, you're going to have massive amounts of conflict. It always happens that way. And
Yeah,
I
but you don't
don't want to
want to
be.
come out. Yeah, but you don't want to
Hmm?
come out and real quick in the comments, Ajna, send me that appeal information you're talking about. I see your comment. But in regards to what you're talking about, I don't think anybody, as a politician or even as a voter, you shouldn't want to come out. DJ, thank
Hmm?
you for those sunflowers. Thank you very much. You don't want to come out and say, I don't want the votes of the right. I don't
Well,
know if
I'm not a politician, though.
that's like the red state, blue state comments Trump used to make. I'm not a fan of that.
I hear you, but I'm not a politician. So, I'll say these things all day. Will a politician do well if he says those things? Probably not. Luckily for
Yeah.
me, I'm not looking for any votes.
Okay, fair enough. I don't argue with that. All right, I got to move it on, kitten. Good talk as always. Always welcome
Have
back,
a good
man.
one, my friend.
You too. Good talk. In the comment, dude in the box is a joke. Be nice, Stevie D. I always give people a chance to get their point across. I don't think what he was saying was comical at all. He was stating his point. I think he stated it quite well. Like I said, I get folks on here that are passionate on both sides of the aisle. I don't censor or ban or block anyone. I let folks speak. I let the man speak. I believe that's how he genuinely felt. He's entitled to his First Amendment free speech rights like anyone else. I'll never interfere with that when you're on the program. Looking in the comments, doesn't want a Republican Party dictator much. No, he didn't say he did not want a Republican Party. He said he is not interested in uniting with the Republican Party. He didn't say you don't have the right to exist. He just doesn't want anything. Separate but equal politics is what he's talking about. Segregation in politics. Do not comply to the bioweapon shot, do not vote, period. Oh my God. I'm assuming you're talking about the vax. I'm going to leave that one alone. I'm going to leave that alone. Wow. Looking in the comments. Yep, Trump attacked Democratic politicians and Biden attacks Republican supporters. That is true. 1984 isn't fiction. Love the name. I was around during that time. I remember the commercial. But, yeah. They both attack each other. Now, I will say that for all the divisiveness, Zion 6190, appreciate that generosity. I will say that Biden has certainly, he had the anti-MAGA speech with all of the red background and two Marines. Biden has done some divisive shit, but I'm not going to put him at the same level as Trump. Because obviously Trump was saying it about senators. He was saying it about generals. I mean, Trump made a habit of making enemies. I don't know why he would make so many enemies to that level if he planned on running again. It just, to me, it doesn't make any sense. But I'm not a politician. At least not yet. Maybe I get lucky and get some of you guys as my constituents if I ever thought about that. Going back to the box. Lone Star. They have good steaks. 1994. So I've been there. Lone Star, good afternoon.
Hey, how's it going? I just appreciate you talking and listening to the majority of the people here in the United States and talk about political ways in life. But I'll kind of go back to what the previous host or the other speaker was talking about. I get that we don't want, and I guess I shouldn't say we want per se, but I think that if we're looking at how other parties are working, I guess the best way to say is, we can sit there and have an enlightenment, or we can have a hardcore conversation about political parties, but at the end of the day, I think it does take two parties to make something happen in general.
I don't know if you went on mute or not. Lone Star, you broke it. Real quick in the comments, Daily 5200, you said Biden doesn't attack the media. That's not 100% true. I believe Peter Doocy on Fox News, I think Trump called him a son of a bitch, got caught on a hot mic or something like that. But there's about Biden saying something really nasty about Peter Doocy. So that's not 100% true. Lone Star, I can hear you now. Go ahead. Lone Star, are you back with me? Okay, I don't know if we lost Lone Star. Looking in the comments though, Fox not real news. I don't, in regards to is Fox News real? That's not. Yeah, they are a real news network. They are a real news network that leans right. Most of their hosts and their commentators are Republican oriented, but the news they're telling you, oftentimes it's factual. You get a lot of opinions, but if they tell you that we're at war with the Ukraine, they're not lying about it. They may report it from a right-wing perspective, but we are at war. Same thing if you watch CNN. They're going to report stuff from a left-wing perspective. And MSNBC even more so. I appreciate that generosity there. I know that came from Mr. Drew. Thank you. Or no, that wasn't Mr. Drew. It was someone else. But I do appreciate that. Ajna sent that. Okay, looking in the comments. It is not factual. Stop it. Listen, Tokyo, I could watch a Fox News broadcast and show you all sorts of shit on it that's factual. If they show you pictures of protests in China, which they have shown, those protests are taking place. There is no such thing as a news network that is lying 100% of the time. Hell, even the Onion occasionally says something that's freaking right. I mean, there's no way you're going to watch Fox News or the same thing my MAGA folks believe about CNN and tell me 100% of the shit that's on that news network is false. Fox News called the election for Warnock on election night. That's not a lie. He won Georgia. He won the Senate race in Georgia. Fox News told you that. So they do report the truth as well. And I don't buy into any network is always lying. Wrong. What other news stations that would wrong? What other news stations that report on altered videos and pictures as real? They all get caught doing that. Lion Corner, something like that. They all get caught doing that. I've seen plenty of stories where CNN or MSNBC were caught lying, standing at a Black Lives Matter protest saying it's peaceful when shit was burning on the other side of the camera. And of course, we've seen Fox News slowing down videos of Nancy Pelosi to make it sound like she's drunk. Both sides of the aisle does this shit. We can argue who does it most or whatever you want to throw in there, but the idea that one side is innocent and the other side is guilty is that's a disingenuous argument. And that's what Chief Spider-Man is saying, but Fox News is famous for it. Okay, Red Lobster is famous for seafood. That don't mean you can't get seafood at a different restaurant, okay? They're not famous for it, but they're still selling this shit. CNN is still doing it. Fox News is the grandfather of biased news. I agree with that. Fox News is probably the first cable news outlet that came on the scene and deliberately tried to be politically biased. Okay, that's fine. But the other networks saw that people like Bill O'Reilly and Sean Hannity were making a fortune in regards to biased politics, and then they started having Crossfire, or they started having, their own different type of forums that were very similar, but on the left. So they're not famous for it, but they're doing it anyway. All right, looking in the comments or in the box. Black Rum. Good afternoon, Rum. Black Rum, you with me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's up, my guy? How you doing?
It's a pleasure talking to you. By the way, folks, tap the screen. Let's see if 40,000 likes could happen on this lunch break live. Bring it on, Brittney Griner. Was that something you would have done?
Well, as a vet myself, that was a hard.
Appreciate your service.
Thank you. That was a hard pill for me to swallow. But you made some points earlier about how people are politicians, and and they're using that as a chess piece. So even though I don't like it, but I understand it. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
if you were a politician, would you have likely done the same thing for that political capital or push for that veteran?
Probably. If I was a politician, but I'm not. I'm a vet, so I'm on that side of it. Now, Have you heard?
Now, I had a caller suggest that this person we're talking about, a veteran, was discharged dishonorably and went over there and was kind of actually spying. Have you heard anything like that?
I did hear the comment, but my thought process when he was saying it was, well, obviously that has to be part of his cover. Do you understand what I'm saying too? That has to be part of his cover.
Yeah.
He can't go over there as an honored, decorated Marine and just be trying to collect information. They're already looking at him sideways anyways for being an American. So to me, that was probably part of his cover. And I do have a couple of other things that people have said that I kind of want to address, if you don't mind.
Let's hear it. Go for it.
Okay, so for the Kanye situation, where people are talking about Kanye is saying that people should apologize, people should accept Hitler or what was it?
He said let's just say Adolf. I don't want to trigger the sense, but he said Jewish people need to forgive Adolf and get over that.
Right. Now, I can understand why he's saying it. He's kind of being petty, like how people in America are telling us folks to get over certain historical things.
They telling us to get over slavery, and we don't think that's petty at all.
So
we think that's bullshit.
No. He's trying to give them a little bit of their medicine. But here's the thing, Kanye don't understand. those folks buy a lot of Mercedes Benz. Think
Yeah.
about that. Think about that. Those folks buy a lot of Maybachs and Mercedes, and so I guess a lot of them have forgiven.
Well,
forgiven
based on the
Adolf.
argument, yeah, but based on the argument you're suggesting, because black people buy white products, we've gotten over slavery because we're buying their products.
Not so much that we've gotten over it, but I think it probably doesn't bother us. Some people. I'm not saying everybody. It probably doesn't,
Right.
bother some people as much. And I'm gonna say that for the other group. I'm gonna say that for them as well. It probably, doesn't bother them as much. The other thing. Go ahead.
Do you think that Kanye is anti-Semitic, does not like Jewish people, based on what you've heard?
No, I don't think that at all. He's being a shock jock. I don't think that at all.
Shit, then how would you, if he can say all of that and not be anti-Semitic, what would it take for you to think he was anti-Semitic?
For him to go out and start killing Jewish people.
That's the bar is that high?
For me,
the only way you're anti-Semitic, you got to actually start murdering folks?
For me, that's like people saying Trump is racist, but for me, Trump has done a lot of things for some folks. For instance, okay, earlier, for instance.
Okay, I'm listening. You got me. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you talk.
A couple of things. For instance, one, people were talking about Trump, and don't get me wrong, I am not a Trump supporter. I'm not a Trump support fan. However, I'm a realist. People were saying earlier that Trump made the worst deal with Afghanistan.
Right.
No, he didn't. Because what people are losing sight of the fact of, we've been bleeding money over in Afghanistan for 20 years, keeping those troops over there. Bleeding. I'm talking about bleeding money. Okay. People don't understand. To maintain the units, to maintain the number of military folks we had over there. Think of all of the supplies that have to be shipped over there annually. Think of the cost.
So you let go of Taliban terrorists to save money? Is that what you're telling me he did?
That's what he did. He's a businessman. What's Afghanistan to us? That's what he did.
Well, the Afghanistan to us is a country that may send terrorists over here to cause problems on our own soil. That's the whole purpose why we were over there to begin with.
Not if we mind our own business from the begin with, they wouldn't.
Well, shit, that applies to everything we fucking gotten involved in history.
Exactly. Not if we mind our own motherfucking business, they wouldn't have. So Trump was like, nah, y'all do y'all. I ain't spending no more money over here. So
I got a side question for you. I mean, I'll let you continue, but I just want to ask, this is a little bit off the topic.
Go ahead.
Vote for me or you ain't black. Do you think that's a racist comment for Biden to make?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
The reason I ask that is because if you can see the light on Kanye, and you can see the light on Trump, how do you see that what Biden said is racist?
Nah, that rubbed me the wrong way, and that's why I didn't vote for him. That rubbed me the wrong way.
You can tell the Jewish people to forgive somebody who killed 6 million people, and that doesn't rub you the wrong way, but vote for me or you ain't black does?
I'm saying there's a lot of people that's been killed, and people still, deal with people.
And you're telling me you're not a Trump supporter, right?
I'm not. I'm a realist.
That don't say you're telling the Jewish people to forgive Adolf, and that don't sound very real to me. I got to admit to you, I don't see how you don't see that as anti-Semitic.
I mean, but okay, if he could say that, but they driving around in Mercedes Benzes, so
if I buy a Mercedes, you take just that simple car as a symbol that I've completely forgiven the Holocaust?
Who makes the Mercedes?
I get your point. I get your point that Mercedes the Germans make Mercedes. Okay. But by me buying a car, that's all you need to see to suggest that I've forgiven folks of the Holocaust. But I can tell the Jewish people to forgive Adolf, and you don't see nothing wrong with that at all. I think you're judging them on a biased scale.
Oh, well, okay. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I asked you, let me tell you why I said that. I asked you, vote for me or you ain't black. You can clearly see the racism in that.
Absolutely.
But then when I asked you about Kanye and I said, what would it take for him to be anti-Semitic? You said he would have to actually be murdering people.
Right.
But all Biden has to say is vote for me or you ain't black. He qualifies as racist, but Kanye has to actually murder people? before he gets to the qualification.
What has Kanye actually said that was wrong? Like, that was so bad?
Oh my God, the numbers of things he said that's wrong are legendary at this point. I mean, he said he was going to go DEFCON 3 on the entire group of people.
And what does that mean? What does that mean?
Well, if you haven't had dealings with every Jewish person on earth, I don't care what it means. It's wrong. I don't care if you said I want to shake every black man's hand. You haven't dealt with all black people. He has not dealt with every single Jewish person to make a blanket negative statement like that.
To say that I'm not going to deal with them anymore, like that's so bad?
The whole race?
So what?
Yeah, bad.
So what? If he says I don't want to deal with them, that's his prerogative.
And it's not racist.
No, why would it be?
What does racism mean to you?
Racist means like you putting down my race, like you giving, you putting us down, you oppressing us, derogatory statements. Like if he just says, "Nah, I ain't messing with y'all no more," like why is that so wrong?
So you don't see where he put down or said anything derogatory about them?
I mean, I haven't heard everything the brother has said because I don't follow him. I don't rock with him like that. I was just addressing the point about them trying to forgive, that guy.
Well, but do you think they should do that?
I mean, that's not my call. That's up to them. What I'm saying is,
do you think it's wrong for him to suggest they should forgive somebody who was responsible for the Holocaust? Do you think it's wrong for him to even say that?
No, I don't think it's wrong. No. And here's why.
I just want to make sure.
And here's
I
why.
just want to make sure I give you.
Here's why, though. Here's why. Okay. Because in America, we have this constitutional amendment called free speech, and people get to say.
I didn't say he. Yeah.
Okay. But
I didn't say he shouldn't be. I didn't say he shouldn't be legally allowed to say
right,
it.
But
I'm just saying you think it's wrong.
Right. But people get to say whatever they want and how they feel. So to me, no, I don't think he's wrong for saying that.
Okay, but you do see "Vote for Me and You Ain't Black" as being racist.
Yeah, because that penetrated. That's why I ain't vote for him. That hit me. That hit me. Like, hold up, what? Like, wait a minute, what?
I just wanted, like I said, I wanted to
wait a minute. But wait a minute. But see how you flipped the question. You didn't ask me if I thought if he said that was wrong. He got the right to say that. He got the right to say it.
Right.
But he ain't get my vote.
I defend free speech all day, every day. I just wanted
but he ain't get my vote.
Yeah, fair enough. But I just wanted to make sure I got clarity from you that you don't see the stuff he did to Jewish as being anti-Semitic, but you can see racism clear as day from a phrase like "Vote for Me, You Ain't Black." But all of this stuff that Kanye has said, you're like, well, no. I just wanted to make sure I knew what you were saying.
Remember, I haven't heard everything the brother has said. I haven't heard everything he said. But that part to me, he good. No, I'm wait a minute. So wait a minute. We talked about the Griner thing. We talked about Afghan. We talked about Kanye. I want to make sure I addressed all the points I wanted to address while I
go ahead. I love talking to you. Go ahead.
Hold on. Was there something else?
Shit. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. There is something else. So the one brother that was up here talking about, well, I said it first. Putin plays chess, right? So the Brittney Griner thing was a setup. That was a setup.
Right.
She was chosen for that, right?
Chosen by who?
Because like that one brother was
chosen by who? Who chose her to do this?
Putin did that. Putin put that plan in motion. Because do you think Putin
put the drugs on her?
Yes. Well, no. He didn't put it on her, but he told him to get her. He told him to get her. Right?
All right.
What I'm saying about that is it was a strategic move to weaken Biden because, like you were saying, Biden looks strong in the eyes of the world, right? But if I want to get rid of an enemy, how do I get rid of an enemy? I take troops. If I can't get to him, I gotta try to turn the closest people to him. Who's the closest people to Biden? The Americans. right? The
The
Republicans, right?
liberal
So you
Americans. Wait. The liberal Americans are closest to Biden. MAGA don't give a damn about them. So I won't say all Americans.
in who Biden chose to bring home.
A
No, not all,
liberal
but a
American.
lot of the conservatives, a lot of the patriots are definitely not rocking with this move.
They wasn't rocking with Brittney Griner. I've had MAGA on my show that say Brittney Griner should have got life in prison. They didn't ever want her to
This
come
is what
home.
I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. You're making my point. You're making my point. So a lot of them, they're not feeling this. So come election time, you best believe you're going to be hearing about this. And that
wait a minute. Let me respond to that. And by the way, folks, we're gonna make 40,000 happen. All these MAGA and patriots in here. Tap the screen. In regards to what you're saying, what Biden did, come election time, they're going to make it be known. Do you believe anybody that's pissed off with the move that Biden just made, bringing Brittney Griner home, was actually going to vote for him before this?
No.
Right. So come election time, it ain't gonna matter.
No,
it ain't gonna
that's
matter.
a good point. That's a good point. It is, but it still is a tool, though. That's a good point, but it still is a good tool, though. It's more ammunition. It's more ammunition.
I mean, you can shoot me with a 50 caliber. You can use a missile. What difference does it make at that point? It's ammunition to somebody who's going to shoot you anyway.
True.
I mean, they didn't like Biden. You're admitting they were already not going to vote for him. Giving him additional ammunition is meaningless.
True, but wait a minute. If you starting to run out of bullets, and I'm giving you more bullets, think about that. You starting to run out of bullets. Think about it.
You really believe in 2024 people are going to be still talking about bringing Brittney Griner home? With Trump in the race attacking every damn body?
I think so. We'll see. I mean, we will see. I think they will use it. But
okay, I think it'll be old.
I gotta go pick up my daughter. But
I really wanted to ask you about him having dinner with Nick Fuentes. Come back to the program.
I'll come back. I gotta get my daughter though. I'll come back.
Absolutely. Do your dad thing. Talk to you later, man.
Hey.
All right. Unfortunately, folks, I do have to terminate the live. I'm on a lunch break. Damn, that was an interesting caller. As I make it clear, I don't ban, block, or censor anyone for their commentary. Now, my last guest suggests he was not a Trump supporter. I'll leave it up to the guests. I talk, you decide. As always, like I said, I appreciate you guys getting your boy up to 40,000 likes. You could be anywhere you want to be on social media. The fact that you're rolling with your boy, 900 of you guys are in here. Fuck it, we're going to take one more caller. I don't want to let 900 patriots and a few liberals go. I got a minute. We're gonna take another call. You got 900 of you guys in here. Follow the program, by the way. Helps out your boy with the analytics, all of that good shit. Joby R, a friend of the program indeed. Brittney Griner, home by Biden, brought home Brittney Griner. Joby, did he make the right move?
Let's take the politics out of it for a second.
Is that possible?
Well, if that's your daughter over there on some trumped up weed charges doing 9 years, you'd be Googling, how do I get in touch with Joe Biden's cell phone in a minute?
Right. Well, shit, if it's my daughter, I want us to go to war with Russia. I get that. But I'm saying just on its face, do you believe that is a good move for Biden to make?
I don't think it was a good or bad. I don't think he really had much of a choice. But
no, he had a choice. I'm
sure that they gave Victor one of those COVID microchip vaccine shots before he left.
You're the second person to say that.
So we're going to find him. We're going to find him when we want to.
Okay. What about my last caller suggesting that come election time, this is going to hurt Biden?
I agree with you on that. That no matter what he did, the people who are not going to vote for him are not going to vote for him. Period.
Yeah. I've also said throughout the broadcast that even if he had brought home those veterans as opposed to Griner, the right wing is not going to give him credit for that. They're not in the business to promote Biden. They're not going to give him credit no matter what he does. So I believe, just like I told the last call, it doesn't matter what he do. They're going to attack him because that's their job.
And regarding Kanye, I do not think he's a genius. Only because why would he go to such extreme lengths to completely destroy his entire legacy? Is it really
I
worth
don't have an answer. I don't have an answer for that at all. I
it?
don't. Yeah, he.
As far as him asking for the Jews for forgiveness, he doesn't understand that forgiveness is a Christian thing.
That would be really fucked up to go ask somebody for forgiveness and they go, but you must think I'm Christian. I'm not going to forgive. That's awful. I never thought of it that way, but I will say at this point, Kanye has dug a hole so deep with the Jewish community. Now, you're not going to get forgiveness for years. I mean, maybe with the one DEF CON comment, but since that, he's obviously met with Nick Fuentes, who has a host of stuff. And then he's still saying, now the forgive Adolf comment, that's probably the nuclear bomb of anti-Semitism. But you heard my last caller. He said that's not even an anti-Semitic comment.
Well, I guess he said he didn't hear everything Kanye said either. So I guess he didn't hear when Kanye said he loves Nazis.
Yeah, but he didn't hear it. But I orated it for him, and based on what I said, that Kanye had stated to a Proud Boys. He was on a show, a right-wing show with the leader of the Proud Boys, and he said at that point that the Jewish people should forgive Adolf. And I stated that clearly to that last caller, and based on what I said, he said, no, that's not an anti-Semitic comment.
So I love Nazis is not anti-Semitic either?
Listen, you and I are on the same page. You and I don't have a disagreement on this shit at all. I'm just letting you know what the last man said.
There are politicians out there who a picture was dug up of them from 30 years ago wearing a Nazi outfit, and they never been heard again. And this man is the biggest mic in the world talking this shit. So he's through. Yeah. As far as career-wise, I don't see a comeback unless he tours like, where's he gonna?
I don't personally see any type of comeback for what he's doing either. Well, but I won't say his career is over because he's well known for making beats, which is what he started. You can still make beats and write music behind the scenes and just don't take credit for it. I mean, he's very talented at producing music. So he still can, a good beat is going to be a good beat no matter who it's coming from. You just don't put your name on the label. But so he can still do that.
If you're an artist, are you gonna hire Kanye under a pseudonym to do your beats, knowing that might get out?
Yeah, yes, plenty of them would. If you are a new rapper, an aspiring rapper, and you want to get in the game, and Kanye is producing, hell yeah, you gonna do that. Now he might not work with Drake or Jay-Z or nobody like that, but an aspiring rapper trying to get out of the hood, I'm doing that track every day. Yeah, people will work with him.
I just want to see Kanye as one of the judges on The Voice.
That ain't gonna happen. You're not gonna be on NBC. They're not even gonna let you on the studio lot. You can't even get past the parking guard. No, Kanye, what? Because he walked into, after Adidas dropped him, he walked into the Skechers headquarters unannounced. Skechers shoes, unannounced. He walked in there, and they kicked him out. And obviously, Kanye would be a huge boost to a company like Skechers that are pretty much unknown in the hood. Ain't nobody wearing Skechers. So if he could come in and produce a great ass shoe like he did Adidas on a normal circumstance, they would have let out the red carpet for somebody like him. But right now, as Cat Williams would say, this shit right here, you got to go. So they kicked him out. So yeah, I can't see Kanye doing anything on a corporate level other than maybe music for the foreseeable future.
All right, man. Well, thanks for taking the call, bro. Be safe. Get back to work.
It's always a pleasure, man. You know how we do it, Joby. Good talk. And as I said, folks, I do got to wrap it up. I appreciate the 46,000 likes. You guys are always rolling with your boy. Yeah, it's toxic now, says Roosevelt. Damn right. If you have Skechers on, no, I don't know if I've ever had a pair of Skechers. I don't know if I've ever owned a pair. Kanye's ego will never let him charge money that a lower rapper could afford. I don't know. Maybe. He obviously has a big ego, but I don't know. He certainly could still produce great music. In fact, he did a track with Cardi B not long ago, and it's a tight-ass track. I mean, it sounds good. But it is Kanye at this point. He ain't gonna be, probably not gonna be in concert anywhere anytime soon. I can't stand Kanye, and I'm black. I would submit to you that most people at this point that can't stand Kanye are probably black. Everybody should be concerned that they can freeze your money like that. M. Bailey. Shit, I'm black. You know how many people have been freezing our finances, freezing our assets? I would say the Jewish people are the least we have to worry about. So I do agree with you that it should piss anybody off that they can freeze your assets overnight. But if you're black, you're probably used to it. It's been happening since the beginning of time in this country. Skechers are the most comfortable shoes you can put on your feet. I don't know. I went out the other day, and I usually wear Nikes. Went out and bought a pair of Brooks. I really like these, so I don't know. And I see not Gen Z said they're comfortable also. How can you support MAGA? See me 007. Real quick before I move on, the purpose of the hat is my light in the middle of the night to let MAGA know this is a MAGA-friendly program. I lean left on most political issues, so I'm not MAGA, but I really enjoy talking to MAGA. I believe that the right does not get a fair play in most media circles, so that's the whole purpose of the program, to show is that a person like myself on the left, if I can have a conversation with folks on the right, and we can do it from a civilized manner, even in my little small corner of social media, which you guys are making it get a little bigger, but even in my little small corner of social media, if we can do this shit, it can be done in Washington. They're just not trying. So that's the purpose of the hat. It's not to suggest that I necessarily lean right, but I favor having conversations with the right. And as you know on the program, I never censor anyone for their free speech. And in the mainstream media, if you want to call it that, they get censored all the time. That'll never happen here. So I appreciate you guys rolling with me. I do got to get back to the 9 to 5. I make a living the traditional way, but it's always good to talk to you folks. Catch you guys on the next show. It's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Stay safe, stay politically involved, and I'll catch you then.